started up in the health and fitness space, put that to aside for a little bit, and now I'm just looking for something else to do in the meantime until I get back working on that. So I just happened to come across there's a guy, his name's Brian Page, I believe. You know the name Brian Page?
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah, I saw his, I usually kind of tune out Facebook ads, to tell you the truth, but it kind of caught my attention. And I was reading through the comments, and that's when I saw your message. And so
Oh, cool.
I just thought to hit you up and
Sweet.
see where things go.
Yeah.
mm,
So it works.
hmm hmm
Awesome. Yeah, I've been doing like kind of rental arbitrage for like 15 years, just a way to like have a good lifestyle. When I was younger, just to like have a nice big house and always have like an instant family kind of
Of
thing,
course, yeah,
always a party going on. It's kind of
yeah,
like school camp happening all the time.
nice.
So I just rented a big house and just chopped up all the rooms kind of thing, and now all those, like, I don't have flatmates anymore. I just have people on Airbnb. They have to book on Airbnb.
Cool.
I'm not even there to accept cash,
Wow,
so you know I have two people cleaning it for
really?
me.
Wow,
Um, it's
that's
easy,
amazing.
and I haven't even been there for 7 months. I'm just
Really?
chilling out in South
Wow.
America. Yeah,
Sheesh.
so that's really given me the confidence to start. Well, to know that I don't have to do everything.
hmm hmm
Like I've and it is quite easy to replace, like
hmm
to get another cleaner and
hmm
stuff, because I guess that was another big fear. Like I'd go away and but now that I've been away for this long, I've had to replace the cleaner so many times, and I haven't even like talked to them as intimately as this.
Wow, wow,
I've just messaged them
wow.
totally. It's just like message and
Fantastic.
send me some photos to prove that it's clean every week, and that's it.
That's it. Wow.
It's
Amazing.
super
That's
easy.
amazing.
And it's like, man, and I see all these people in a struggle, myself in a struggle like 5 years ago kind of thing. Um, and I was just like, well, at first I just thought, oh, I'll just chuck on my couch for $1, or like my gazebo. I had a gazebo on and you know, and I was like, I'll just chuck it on there for $1. And yeah,
Mm.
just started, when my flatmates moved out, I just made the room look real nice, made an Airbnb listing, chucked it on there, and boom,
Cool.
it's super easy. And now I'm really keen to scale it up. I'm
hmm
looking at hotels, and I reckon I can manage 30, 50 listings,
Wow.
quite comfortably.
Phenomenal. Yeah, you'll
Yeah,
be
taking
busy.
it to the next
That's
level.
great. It's
Um,
crazy the opportunities that have come from Airbnb, you know. Those are the greatest kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
businesses, you
totally.
know.
So, and I was doing it for, yeah, a long time before Airbnb came along,
Yeah.
and I was still making profit.
Hmm.
And now that Airbnbs came along, it's just made it all
Added to it. Wow.
so much
Yeah, right?
easier. And like, yeah,
Hands
the
off.
quality of people's easier. They
Wow.
they manage the advertising, they manage all the money. Because that was probably my biggest flaw, being a landlord,
hmm
is asking for rent.
hmm
It's really, I mean, it can take it took me a lot of personal
hmm
development to be able to ask for
hmm
rent and not have a fight or lose a friendship over it,
Like if
you
people
know?
were late, you mean, or just not
Yeah,
paying. Yeah,
totally.
yeah,
Because it can become quite a personal
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Right.
And especially like, and some people I've had in my experience can become really aggressive as well.
Wow.
Like you have lots of bad tenant stories, and
hmm
yeah, you can have lots of Airbnb bad tenant stories as
Sure.
well. Like just today, I was speaking with a lady. Somebody rented her property for one night,
hmm
and the neighbors called her up and told her that her house was on fire. And later on, they discovered that the Airbnb guest had ran away from the property, abandoning it on fire because they had started cooking methamphetamine and it had gone wrong.
True story? Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Dude,
bro,
that's
true
insane.
story. Perth, Australia, in
That's
Australia, Perth.
insane.
And so yeah, I'm talking to the lady now, and the reason why I came across her is because she was complaining about Airbnb taking 3 months and trying to haggle down the payment price. You know, they were talking about depreciation, so they're trying to take 30 grand off the price or something like that. But after her complaining a little bit about it, the Airbnb just today awarded her the full amount
Oh, that's
that she
good.
was
That's
asking
good.
for.
Wow.
So yeah, that is
Yeah.
good, but still a little
Right.
worrying that, you know, they were like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
and she was a super host as well.
Really? Okay.
So to like kind of like try and
Oh, to
hustle,
haggle
like
like
her
that. I
point
see what
was
you're
like
saying.
somebody,
Yeah.
you know, they're trying to screw me out of 30
Yeah.
grand, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm making them so much
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I was like,
That's a mess.
yeah,
Jeez.
it's like check out VRBO and Home Away,
Yeah.
man. Like, what's happening there?
Out of
Um,
control.
so for you
Mm-hmm.
personally, do you have a space where you think you could host somebody, get started?
At the moment, I don't. Um,
Don't?
no, I
A
do not.
friend? You don't have some friends that like, because that's how Airbnb got started.
Mm-hmm.
Like it used to be air, bed, and breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And so just during a large event in town, they just chucked an air bed on the floor, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and like, you know, you kind of go to the event with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, a new big thing is like Airbnb
Mm-hmm.
experiences. Not, you know, I do recommend that, but for an activity that you're already doing at the time, like, you know, like if you're already going surfing, you might as well take some new friends surfing with you
Mm-hmm.
and get paid for it, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or if you're already going out every Friday and Saturday night
Mm-hmm.
pub crawling,
Mm-hmm.
you might as well take some people with
Mm-hmm.
you and get paid for it,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but for me, it's not a passive income because you are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm keen to do
Mm-hmm.
some. But it's, you know, it's, yeah, it'll be fun, a group activity for sure. Um, it'd be real fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'm talking about just my point
Mm-hmm.
is the what differentiates Airbnb from a
Mm-hmm.
hotel or other accommodation is that personability, you know,
Right.
that personal connection,
Right. Right.
especially even with
Mm-hmm.
listings. You know, the listings that really stand
Mm-hmm.
out, they have personal
Mm-hmm.
touches about them.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much like family photos
Mm-hmm.
and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but like eccentric, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
unique, interesting,
Mm-hmm.
interesting
Mm-hmm.
decorations, you know, that show kind of like a certain passion. You know, Airbnb, yeah. So its keyword is unique.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, like one thing, oh yeah, I didn't quite go so far into that story about my couch and my gazebo. I ended up renting out my tree hut at one point for $40 a night, and the dude was super stoked renting out my tree hut for $40 a night, and it had no roof. So I don't do that anymore, but I have done that,
Wow.
and so that's a possibility.
Crazy. Okay.
Um, yeah, super
Yeah.
crazy. And my point there as well is that is the most desirable listing. Like Airbnb actually cannot get enough of tree hut listings. I do suggest having a roof and like, you know, amenities up there.
That's
But
the
if you
most
can,
desirable listing.
yeah, bro. So sometimes I've, which has just made me click
Mm,
because I'm looking at hotels and stuff. But
mm,
in the past, I have actually looked at properties
mm.
with lots of trees on them and thought like, I could build a tree hut hotel here. You know, like some kind of Ewok
Mm,
village where you've got walkway bridges
mhm,
going from tree to tree.
mhm,
You know, like they do in Bora Bora
mhm,
over the ocean, but you
mm,
know you do it in trees.
mm,
And a thing that I have thought about that with like South America, like these inexpensive countries, instead of doing Airbnb in a cheap country or a higher end
mhm,
country, like a luxury, going for that luxury, because there's more kind of fat in the game, you know.
mhm,
If you go instead of doing the budget,
mhm,
but in a downturn, more people are always going to need accommodation, like, you know, without going kind of the Airbnb. Like, yeah, if you buy or invest in a property, you always want to make sure that you can still be positive cash flow, even if it's not listed on
Sure,
Airbnb.
sure,
You
sure.
know, like, don't go out solely buying a property
Mm-hmm.
thinking that, you know, relying on Airbnb as your
Got
strategy
it.
to collect rent,
Got it. Got it.
because a lot of regulations happening around. But yeah,
Okay.
there's definitely ways to do it.
Hmm.
But yeah, back to your
Mm-hmm.
situation. You don't, yeah. Um, so in the video, like, yeah, if you don't, yeah, because that's what I recommend. Like,
I
if
see.
you can start your Airbnb profile off without like going into too much, like if you wanted to rent a property, which is kind of the best way, because you're not tying up heaps of cash, you know, like you like equity, you know, you're not tying down heaps of equity, you don't have so much risk, you know, you can, you know, you can multiply. Seems to be a lot faster when you do start making cash flow. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
can acquire other rental properties, whereas buying a house is like every 3 months. But you know,
Yeah.
you can pick up rental properties, or just managing, like co-hosting is my main point for you.
Okay.
Being a co-host, managing people's properties on Airbnb for the owner, um, and just, you know, because they don't have the time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like they're not interested, they don't have the time. You'll find that with a lot of people. And my main other point to look for is real estate agents, because they have access, you know, that they have that network,
Mm-hmm.
and they are not interested at all in managing those inquiries whatsoever, because they just want to buy and sell houses.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Right.
they don't want to be making beds.
Sure.
Um, not that you're going to be making, you don't have to make any, but
Mm-hmm.
that is how I suggest at the start, is that you do make beds. Like, you know, you even make them breakfast, you know, like you just have them for one
Mm-hmm.
night, like on a Friday
Mm-hmm.
night or a Saturday night
Mm-hmm.
when you're going to the same concert kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And you actually try and make a real quality connection
Mm-hmm.
with them, and just get a few ratings first, you know, before you go out and list the mansion on Airbnb, you know.
So you mean using like my own place, you're saying?
Yeah, totally. Like,
Mm.
even you going away for a holiday,
Yeah, I see.
you
I
know?
see. I see.
Yeah, you use your
Okay.
place while you leave,
Okay.
because eventually you're going to want to do that
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to, you know, you can just start traveling because
Mm-hmm.
you've got cash flow. So, you know, like me, you know, I just rent out my room
Mm-hmm.
in New
Mm-hmm.
Zealand, and the same, you know, for the cost of my room in New Zealand, I can rent a whole apartment in South America. You know, I can be much more comfortable with that exchange rate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though I don't, you know, I don't have a huge cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
Like in New Zealand, my comfortable, you know, I will not be so comfortable with my budget. But
Mm-hmm.
here,
Mm-hmm.
South America,
Mm-hmm.
I'm super
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with my budget, you know.
Mm-hmm. And if that's not an
And
option, since my apartment complex unfortunately doesn't allow for
oh yeah,
Airbnb,
regulation,
yeah. Um,
specifically Airbnb.
as far as I know, yeah, because they're it's just kind of a strange kind of apartment building I live in, and they're
I've
really
heard strategies around that as
have
well.
you? Because they're just weird about
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if I give them, we have like a key fob to scan in, and they watch the surveillance cameras like crazy, and if they see somebody else, like even if it's for like a couple nights going in
Yeah.
that's different from
Oh,
you,
yeah, I've seen
they
one
flag it.
apartment,
Yeah.
and you had to have fingerprint
Fingerprints.
scans
Wow.
to get into the building.
Wow.
Yeah, totally.
That's more
All right,
intense.
so yeah,
Mm.
so um, I mean, with that, I
Mm.
have heard, so the kind of most trickiest way that I've heard around that
Mm.
is if, which I haven't done yet,
Mm.
but if you have a corporate lease, which you don't have,
Mm.
I'm guessing, but you know, if you were a
Mm.
business, um, because the then the tenant is the business, and you are just changing your, you know, you're just giving it to different people.
Mm. Mm.
which you're legally allowed to do
Mm-hmm.
if they sign you up,
Mm-hmm.
if they sign a business up as a tenant, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can legally force them, or if, you know, or the building, or if you own the building, but, you know, you buy it under a business or whatever, you know, you can legally, through the court, make them kind of do that. Be
Okay.
like you have to,
I see.
because I own this and I'm legally allowed to do whatever I want with my
Mm-hmm.
property because it's my property,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
and I have a legal right to do it
Mm-hmm.
because this business owns it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a legal entity,
Mm-hmm.
yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's super way down the road.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, like, yeah, starting with your couch and something like
Mm.
doing that, or a friend's spare room,
Got it. I see what you mean. Okay. Okay.
you know, like the doesn't necessarily have to be there,
Mm-hmm.
but where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but ideally, yeah, to start off with, so you can meet them, you know, like, you know, give them a little extra bit, you know, just try and get that super host status going first,
Got it. I see.
uh,
Okay. Okay.
which really helps with making money on Airbnb
Okay.
and trust,
Okay. Okay.
as well as having an exceptional listing with
Mm-hmm.
photos and description
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and good price.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, real estate agents, a friend, yourself.
So what kind of connections could you run that by me one more time? Like what kind of connections could I make with real estate agents? That,
Just talk to
mm-hmm.
them about, have they got any short-term rental listings? Like, tell them you're running
Mm-hmm.
a, a corporate house sharing management
Mm-hmm.
company,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, if they've got any inquiries, you know, talk to them about just setting up a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't hit them up over the phone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just, but hey, look, yeah, just try and keep it super
Right.
basic.
Right.
Just
Right.
say you want to talk to them, when are they available,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you're talking to them in person, you know, just kind of build up that rapport, that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're in your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you want to become buddies with them,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just tell them what you're, you know, what you're doing, what, yeah, you're doing, managing short-term rentals, and yeah, you can help make some money
So what?
with the properties that are vacant. So they will have people that will, like, you know, they'll have a property management company,
Mm-hmm.
possibly, possibly not.
Mm-hmm.
That property management company could be doing long-term rentals. Like, if they aren't doing property management at all
Mm-hmm.
for the houses that they're buying and selling,
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, it's wide open for you. But if they do have a property management company, they're probably not doing short-term
Mm-hmm.
rentals, and they will have customer inquiries that will want them to do short-term
Mm-hmm.
rentals. Um, and yeah, you know, you can fill that space for them.
Mm-hmm.
You can be the man on the ground, you know, going in there, changing the bed
Mm-hmm.
sheets, and, you know, writing little welcome notes and
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, automate that. But yeah, you can have somebody else do it. You know, employ somebody to do that for you.
So as far as short-term rentals, so these are vacant apartments that aren't up for rent, you're saying? Are not currently up for rent?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, up for rent, totally.
That are up for rent.
Um, or like, people have just brought them,
Okay.
you know, but they don't want to do Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, totally, they want to rent them out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and more traditionally, yeah, they, you know, they'll have inquiries for people to do short-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you know, like, you'll have, I'm not too sure about Chicago, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but like, you know, yeah, you'll find like penthouses and stuff where people buy it with the expectations of renting it out, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to tourists by the night,
Mm-hmm.
because it's such a flash property, you know.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but then more traditionally, like, you know, yeah, when you do buy a property, you put somebody in there on a fixed, you know,
Mm-hmm.
yearly tenancy.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of those people don't realize as well that, well, yeah, a lot of they don't want to. I'm sure they do realize, or can they? You can definitely educate them that they can be making a lot more money doing short-term rentals.
Mm,
They maybe fear that they don't want to do it, so you're going to do it,
mm,
and just do it for a commission.
mm,
And yeah, so I mean, and they don't know, or they might be worried about the sort of security of it, but it's much better. Like Airbnb has $1 million insurance.
mm,
You can get more insurance if the property is Donald Trump's mansion,
mm,
penthouse or
mm,
something. If
mm,
it is worth more.
mm,
Um, so yeah, if somebody does start up a P Lab, Airbnb will pay you out.
mm.
Just might have to kick up a bit of a fuss about it.
What about the
Um,
furnishing for a place like that?
Yeah, so that can be. Oh, yeah, that's right. You had told me
Mm,
you need 6 or 8 grand, and that was kind of your thing. Like
mm,
you need furniture to get started.
mm.
Oh yes, in some of those cases you don't that I've talked about because it would already be
Okay.
furnished because you're just managing
Yeah.
for somebody.
See.
But yeah, for like a bond and stuff like that, um, you could borrow the money
Mm,
off somebody.
mm,
Um, do a little joint venture,
mm,
do a little short-term loan,
mm,
especially if you do like a little business plan, like, this is the property, this is, show the statistics of how much you can rent it out for.
mm.
You could get an investor,
Gotcha.
like a legit investor you don't know, not just your mum or dad or
Yeah.
your brother
Yeah.
or friend.
Mm,
Um, I would suggest to make that like a loan and not necessarily uh, a business partner,
mm, mm,
and sharing the profit.
mm,
Because if it's just a loan, then you're just responsible to paying them back in a month
mm,
or something like that.
mm,
You just give them all the profits back
mm,
first. Um, yeah, then afterwards, you have full control.
mm,
But
mm,
if you're doing it with the owner
mm,
and you're not like legitly just renting it off them,
mm,
just doing a profit share,
mm.
then you're just making your 10% or 30%
Yeah. Yeah.
if you're lucky.
Gotcha. 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 Okay.
But
Well.
yeah, you could totally do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Good.
but furnishing,
Mm,
yeah, so you could get that on hire purchase,
mm,
30, 60 days deferred payment before you have to start any payments with a lot of plans. I'm sure you get that at Walmart or something like that
mm.
too. So you get a house furnished and then just start paying it off monthly
Gotcha.
after the first 2 months,
Okay.
I'm sure.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Which would seem quite smart
Mm.
if you were going, for that seems a very interesting way to do it.
Sure. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I would suggest that.
Yeah.
But also furniture can be super basic too,
Mm,
man.
mm,
Like it can just be an airbed,
mm.
you know?
Could be.
Like you can just chuck in some spare cutlery, like
Mm,
you can go to a second-hand shop or something,
mm,
like you can just get some real
mm,
cheap stuff just to get started.
mm,
I mean, if you have a certain example, like it would be super sweet,
mm,
but
mm.
you know, yeah,
Yeah, for this, from what you're describing, it sounds like this is a really cool opportunity. It sounds like something a lot of people should take advantage of, when they
oh,
can.
totally, man.
Um,
It's such a need for some people. Like,
yeah.
there's so many people struggling,
Hmm.
and it's so easy for them to do,
Hmm.
and it's much better as well. It's much better than a long-term tenant.
Hmm.
Like the stress, like a long-term tenant brings junk and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Hard to get rid of them.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Super hard to get rid of
Oh
them.
my gosh, there's no comparison.
Whereas an Airbnb
Yeah,
guest, they pay like they're prepaid. They come and
that's
go.
it. Yeah. Yeah, I want to get into this as like an additional source of income, but probably later on in the future when I can actually, I think what sounds most appealing is, even if you have to do chalk up, some investments up front, 6, 8,000, and then, have some rentals under your belt and then maybe even buy a few of them. I think,
Hmm.
I think it makes sense for down the road, but I probably can't, I probably can't do it at the moment, but yeah.
I think the really
Mhm.
interesting
Mhm.
thing is the co-hosting and
The
like
co-hosting.
especially the scalability there.
Mm,
You can be like picking up. picking up 5 properties a week
Mm,
if you're doing stuff like that.
mm, mm,
Real easy, you know.
mm,
I mean, I just talking to a guy in Spain
mm,
yesterday, and he's looking like, yeah, he went to a real estate agent, and they're like, oh yeah, great, like we actually have heaps of inquiries for short-term rentals.
mm,
We have nobody doing it, so he's going to be their guy on the ground for that.
mm.
Um, but then he's also got a meeting with somebody that has 150 listings, and like they all look like mansions, and one or two of them are really good. I mean, there's definitely improvements that I could see for every listing, but some of the listings are just abominable. Like all the photos are really bad.
Oh,
There's like not even any
mm,
description. I'm honest, like I am guilty of that myself
mm,
because you get complacent,
mm.
you know,
Yeah, sure.
especially if you've got heaps of money and
Mm,
you've got tenants and
mm,
you've got security.
mm,
You're like,
mm,
ah,
mm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, all the pricing, like they did not have any love for the pricing
Wow.
or their listing
Wow.
or anything
Huh.
like that. It was just some of the Airbnb listings as well. You could actually even only rent them for a year.
Mm.
So they're like, you know, they're missing out on so much
So much.
opportunity.
Wow.
Like, and they were
Amazing.
so high ends. They were all like hundreds of dollars a night. It was
That's
ridiculous.
insane.
Like, if he gets and manages those properties,
Yeah.
I'm moving to Spain to
Gonna
help
help him.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's gonna be. Well, I maybe like because there is just so much money being left on the table. It's ridiculous.
That's wild.
And you just need to sit down and talk to those people about it
Mm-hmm.
and show them
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and be like, I can do it for
Mm-hmm.
you because they obviously don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
don't have the time.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So I really see such a huge opportunity there. Like going and networking with the real estate agents,
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
even though there is more meat like per deal,
Mm-hmm.
going in and owning it or renting it,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But just the scalability of hiring some staff to manage all these Airbnb listings that you're taking on to co-host and
Mm-hmm.
just doing it better than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
seems like it's a super easy
Makes
thing
sense
to do,
too. Yeah, sure does.
And Airbnb is just growing exponentially,
Mm.
It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going away.
Good for them. That's awesome.
Mm.
Cool, man. Well, I got to get wrapping up here in a little bit, but hey, it's a pleasure to connect and get educated on that. And I'll be following you, and I'll just kind of keep. I want to learn more about this, and as I gather more
Cool.
information, hopefully connect with you in the future about ideally getting some started on some things. So
Yeah, man. Like I just posted a video about me going through that student with the properties
okay,
and all the
okay,
mansions. And just like, he was like, oh, can you,
yeah,
he was going to go talk to the
yeah,
owner. And he's like, can you tell me, can you give me your advice on their
mm,
listings and tell me what is improvement?
mm,
So, he's gone in there with my words kind of
mm.
thing. And I'll do the same for you, bro.
It sounds good, man. I'll
Yeah.
check that out.
If you get something, let me have a look at it and
Yeah,
I'll make a YouTube video for you.
I appreciate
Just
that.
please comment and like my
Yeah,
videos.
totally,
Super
totally. I
happy.
will. I'll help you grow. Cool,
Thank you,
man.
Ray.
Yeah. It's been real. Take care.
Yeah, bro.
I'll
Catch
see
you
ya.
soon. Ciao.